First time I suffered depression was about 15 years ago. I was working as a lawyer and I started to get behind on my work. I was procrastinating. I started to find that I didn't sleep very well. I was waking up at night thinking about everything that was going on. I was throwing up sometimes before I went to work. And then one morning I had been to court and I was driving back to the office and I was driving down a hill and I sort of took my foot off the brake and I thought, if I just let go of the wheel, I could just end it all now. And that's when I realized I had to get some help. At the bottom of the hill, instead of turning right to go back to the office, I turned left. I went to the hospital, went to the emergency ward, and I ended up in the hospital for 2 weeks. I got some good help at the hospital. I got referred to a psychiatrist and got some very good help there. Got on some antidepressant medication, and after a few months I was able to go back to work. And after about 1.5 years after that, I was able to stop taking the medication on my psychiatrist's advice.
When John had his first episode of depression, it came out of the blue. I didn't know what had happened. I didn't pick up any of the signs. John was good at hiding it. In retrospect, I was able to recognize some symptoms. I remember also the day before he went into the hospital, we were walking over the Cambie Street Bridge because it was Grey Cup. And I remember you having a really good long look down how far it was from the top of the bridge, and I can't remember, you made some kind of comment, and I took it as something humorous at the time. So those were a couple flags that I just totally missed. I realized that I had to change my outlook, my context of how to treat mental illness. And once I recognized that it's a disease, just like how diabetes, juvenile diabetes is a disease, he can't be blamed or judged for his work ethic or for his, his personality, etc. So once I turned my brain around on that, recognizing he shouldn't be blamed and that he should be helped, it became a lot easier. And it was a bit of a slow recovery. Partners do a lot when the man is recovering. And also, it gave me time to reflect on what I would need to recognize if this happened again and what it would look like. So when John was experiencing his second episode, I then was able to recognize some of those things. So I knew that something was up, and there were times in which I kind of tried to broach it, but he wasn't ready to talk. And then I remember distinctly, it was in the middle of the night in which he woke up saying, "I gotta tell you something really important." I said, "I think I'm going through depression." I said, "Okay, good. I'm glad you told me. Now let's put the game plan in place," because we had a game plan set up.
Yeah, I went back to see the psychiatrist. I got back on medication, on the same medication that had worked before. And it, surprise, surprise, it worked again. Yeah. And that time, because I had caught it earlier, I didn't have to go off work. I didn't have to go to the hospital. I started on the medication. I started monitoring myself more closely, monitoring my mood, trying to catch myself before I procrastinated, and trying to do all the things that you've got to do to recover from depression. And I was able to catch it before it caused any real major problems. Now I'm doing great. I'm working. I haven't had a depression for several years. I'm still taking antidepressant medication because the doctor says that's the best thing to do to make sure it doesn't come back. But also I know what to do if I do feel like it's coming back. If I start procrastinating too much, if I start to have trouble sleeping, if I start to have other problems like that again, I know that it's time to go see the doctor, talk about tweaking the medication, and maybe get a referral to a psychiatrist again.
And I know I'm going to be better prepared if this happens again. It's not just me alone. I have a whole community of resources to help me help him.